Okay, we're going to talk about how to create a stock chart using the visual data tools in Vizrt T4. This is going to be a standalone stock chart in this tutorial, meaning that you won't need to feed any external data into it, but it's a way that you can create a quick chart in case you need something in your scene design to represent a stock chart. To start, what we're going to do is go into the built-ins. Within the geometry plugins, there is a folder on the left called Visual Data Tools. We're going to use the stock chart. So we're going to drag this up into the scene tree. Now before we go into the stock chart, there's one more thing that I want to add to this container, which is in the container plugins within the visual data tools folder on the left. And we want to place the data storage plugin on this as well. We're going to click on the data storage. First, we're going to change the shared memory into scene. Now we're going to jump back into the stock chart plugin. First thing we're going to do, shared memory here, is we're going to change that from inactive to scene. Once we do that, we get these key data variables here. It tells us key open and it tells us data open. Then it has key close, which filled in data close. Then it has key high, and there's a data high underneath that. And then there's a key low with the name of data low. So we're going to just leave these names as is, and we're going to jump back into our data storage, and we're going to use those names. So right here with our key data 1, we are going to use DataOpen. So whether you want to copy it with Control C and or just remember it and come over to your key data here and you can type it in. Once we have the name, you want to give it some data. So we can fill in some variables here, and you can see once we start to do that, it's actually building a chart here. Now we're going to go fill in the rest of the naming conventions here. So we're going to go back into our stock chart. Here we have a data close, a data high, and a data low. So we're going to go back and add these into our key datas. So here we have a data low, then we have a data high, and down here we have a data close. Now it doesn't really matter which order you place it in, just be aware of which variables are going where. Once you have your key data, again, you just want to type in your various numerical data here for it to represent. So random numbers here I'm typing in. As you can see, when we're typing this in, it starts to grow these little candles here. So it all depends on the different data sets here. So we have our data open at 10. If we just wanted to, vary these numbers a little bit more, we could. And then we should start seeing a little bit more variation in the candles. And so we'll add some negative numbers here as well. And maybe we'll just go through and add some higher numbers here for each one of these, or for different various sets here. Okay, so you can see what's happening as we build some of this graph out here. The data has, or the stock chart has, an area where you can indicate the low and the high points of the stock chart. So as we type in these numbers, you can see what's kind of happening with our stock chart. So if we want to keep adding numbers going here on the X, we would use the data open, or our data 1 here, and this is creating new variables on the right and adding bars, and it's adding it where the number opens here. So this is the data open price. Then there's a data low. So if we came in and added a number here to match this 70, let's say it was a negative number at this low point, and now you can see that it has a candle going down. And if we wanted to add another negative point within our last block here, it will go down. Here we have a data high. So you can see this high point was higher than the 10. The 70 is higher than the 30. That's why there's a little white bar there. And 49 and 50 are pretty close. That's why there's no bar there. So let's add 2 more variables here. And let's go way up. So we'll add 100 and we'll see a white bar there. And if we go above 89 for our last number, so let's type in 200, we could see a white bar there as well. Once we have our data within our stock chart, if we jump back into our stock chart plugin, there's a couple options here. First, if we wanted to move this and or scale this down, we could certainly do that within our transformation axis editor here. It shows us what everything is going on. We have within our stock chart here, again, we have our data fit. So we could fit our data open, our data close, our data high, and our data low if we wanted to make sure that it always fits within our scene variables here. The big thing with the stock chart here is that it has its built-in colors down here. So we can turn this use vertex colors on and off. Once we turn it on, we can select whether it's a bool color or a bear color. Generally, stock charts have a green or a red ticker indicator indicating that it's up or down. But if you did want to change it for whatever color you wanted, you could certainly change that. The high wick color has its own color selection as well. So if we wanted to add a color to the wicks that are going above the bars, we could. There's a low color wick, so we could change the color of the low bars as well. From there, you have other options. You have a bevel candle. You can bevel your wick. So as you turn these buttons on, you'll get your bevel settings. You also have a candle width, a candle gap, so you can spread the gap out, and then your ratio here, or your width of the actual candle wicks going up. So that's another way to use the visual data tools using the stock charts with standalone data from within your own scene.